Okay, Rambam, we're starting out Hilchos Yesodei haTorah Perek. The Shechastafali Yedefel, this is busful, you should leave. Extend your kindness to those who know you, and your charity to the upright of the heart. Sefer Yisrael, Sefer Ma'adah, the first book, which is the book of knowledge. In place of Chumash Yesodei, it contains 5 sets of halachas, and this is the order. Hilchos Yesodei haTorah, Hilchos choose the laws of the foundations of the Torah, the laws of personal development, the laws of Torah study, the laws of worship of stars and their statues, the laws of truth. Hilchos Yesodei haTorah, the laws of Yesodei haTorah, Yishpafal Esther mitzvahs. It contains 10 mitzvahs, 6 mitzvahs, 7 mitzvahs. Let's say 6 positive commandments and 4 negatives. Zel Prata, this is the details. Later, to know that there is a God. Not to consider the thought that there is another Hashem besides Hashem. The Yachli, to unify and La'aveh, to love Him. The Yerim, to fear. The Kaddish Shmei, to sanctify His name. The Chal Shmei, not to make Yisrael Hashem. Not to destroy things that are associated with His name. To listen to a prophet who speaks in His name. Not to test Hashem. We're going to explain these halachas in this program. Aleph, you say that, you say this, the foundation of all foundation. And the pillar of wisdom is later Shisham is to know that there's a primary being who brought into all being, all existence. All the beings of the heavens, the earth, and what is between them came to existence only from the truth of His being. Base. If one would imagine beings does not exist, no other being could possibly exist. Gimel. If one would imagine and none of these entities aside from Him exist, He alone could continue to exist, and the nullification of their existence would not nullify His existence, because all other entities require Him, and He, the Eibishter, does not require them, nor any of them. Therefore, the truth of His being does not resemble the truth of their being. This is what the Torah says, and Hashem, your Hashem is true, He alone is true, and there's no entity besides His truth that compares His truth. This is what the Torah says, there's nothing else aside from Him, there's no true existence like His. Hey, the entity is the Hashem of the world and Hashem in the entire world. He controls the sphere with infinite and unbound power. The power continues without interruption. The power continues without interruption because the sphere is constantly revolving, and it is impossible for it to revolve without someone causing it to revolve. Hashem is one who causes it to revolve without a hand or any other corporal dimension. Knowledge of this concept is a mitzvah. As it says, I am Hashem, anybody who presumes that there's another God, he's over all. It says, you shall have no other gods before me. And he denies the fundamental principle of faith, because this is the great principle of faith upon which all depends. Zayin. The God we're referring to, He is one, not two or more. He's one. He's not one in the manner of general category, which includes many individual entities, nor one in the way that the body is divided into different portions and dimensions. Or let's say a body which is divided into different portions and dimensions. Rather, He's unified and there exists no divinity similar to Him in the world. Sorry, I skipped. If there were many gods, they would have body and form, because like entities are separate from each other only through the circumstances associated with the body and the form. If the Eibishter had a body or a form, you're going to have limitation and definition, because it's impossible for a body not to be limited. Any entity which itself is limited and defined possesses only limited and defined power. Since Hashem possesses unlimited power, as evidenced by the continuous revelation of the sphere. We see that his power is not power of body. Since he's not a body, the circumstances associated with bodies that produce division and separation are not relevant to him. Therefore, it's impossible for him to have anything because he doesn't have a body. The knowledge of this concept would be that, therefore, he's only one. The knowledge of this is a mitzvah say, as it says, Hashem Lekid Hashem Echad. Yes, I enforce B'Terim Revim Shen HaKadosh Baruch Hu Guf Ogvir Shenemer Hashem Lekid U'Alekim Shemaim Imal Ve'Elaras Mitachas V'Aguf Le'Yeh B'Shnei Mekim. Is Nemer Kolei Yisem Kol Tuvun Nemer Ve'Almi Sidimuri Ve'Eshva V'Ilo Aguf Hayadem Ve'Leshak Gufim. Now, this is what the Torah says, and the Nevi'im say that the Eibishter is not confined by a body or a physical form, as the Torah says, because Hashem Hashem is that in the heavens above and the earth below, and a body cannot exist in two places. Also says, for you do not see any image. To whom can you liken me? With whom shall I be equal? Were he confined to a body, he would resemble other bodies. So here, tech.
Where do you get this
apple?
How many will we look to?
This whole, I think, I don't remember. I spawned it.
I'm happy to I need to hold the cover.
Okay, test. So now, if the Eibishter, how come sit? Okay. It's actually interesting. I don't know. You're saying Hashem doesn't have a goof, doesn't have a body, so why would the Torah say below his feet, by the finger of Hashem, Hashem's eyes, Hashem's ears? So if Hashem doesn't have a body, it was Hashem's ears, Hashem's eyes, etc. The Ram says, all these expressions relate to the human thought possesses with no any corporal imaginary. In other words, we need to understand, so Hashem speaks in our terms. They're all like just descriptive terms. Hashem says, I will wet my lightning sword. Hashem is a sword. It's a metaphor. What's a proof to this? One prophet says that he saw Hashem clothed in white snow. Another envisioned him with crimson garments from Batra. Hashem saw Hashem in visions at Har Sinai as a mighty man waging war. And by Har Sinai he saw as a leader of a congregation wrapped in talis. So what do we see? Hashem, he has no image or form. All of these are expressions of an imaginary. The truth is, no human being can comprehend Hashem. This is what the verse says. Can you find the comprehension of Hashem? Can you find the ultimate man, the Almighty? Good. What did Moshe, our teacher, want to comprehend when he said, please show me your glory? He asked, know the truth of the existence of Hashem to the extent that he could be internalized with his mind as one who knows a particular person whose face he saw, that his image has been engraved in one's heart. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu asked, that the existence of Hashem be distinguished in his mind from the existence of other entities, to the extent that he would know the truth of his existence as its own right. And Hashem replied to him that it's not within the potential of living being, man, a creature of body and soul, to comprehend this matter in time.
There, the way you look, fine here.
Where am I? What did Moshe Nevertheless, Hashem revealed to Moshe matters which no other man had known before him, nor would he ever have known, until he was able to, nor would anybody else know this, until he was able to comprehend from the truth of the existence of Hashem, to be distinguished in his mind from other entities, as a person is distinguished from other men when he sees his back and knows the stature, just to be able to see the back. It's okay, I know who he is, so Moshe Rabbeinu was able to have that middle picture. Closest he was able to get. And this is what it says, you shall see my back, but you shall not see my face. Yod Aleph. Right. The Kimish is Bash and Gubik is Barish, Lay Yarn, Lay Afan Memoris Akubas, and Shimmer, Lay Peer, Lay Map, Lay Middle, Lay Alio, Lay Yid, Lay Mid, Lay Smir, Lay Pun, Lay Offer, Lay Shu, Lay Amid, Lay Namatsu, Bisman, Achia, Lay Rishis, Vakas, Shana, Vain, Vistana, Shelly, Dover, Shigam, Lay Shide, Vain, Lay Movas, Lay Sign, Tesaya, Gopa, Lay Sichlis, Lay Fafos, Alvasi, Shafaham, Lay Shem, Lay Kitsu, Lay Kas, Lay Swing, Lay Simple, Lay Atsus, Lay Stick, Lay Kidir, Adam, Kakam, Roham, and the Mila, Lay Shu, Lay Video, Lay Air of Lay Nubus. So, since then, it's been clarified. He does not have a body or corporal form. It is clear that none of these functions of the body are appropriate. He doesn't have the separation, doesn't have measure, doesn't have this a set, right, left, front, back, standing, sitting. Doesn't have time, smart, age, change. The Eibishter doesn't exist with the Eibishter. It doesn't have sleep, waking, anger, laughter, joy, sadness, silence, speech. All these things, it's all human understanding, how we understand it. And this is what the Chacham say, above there's no sitting or standing, separation or connection. You'd base last halacha this Perek, Vayel whatever Kenu, since this is the Azay. Kolel from all the kids, Ben Shon Namr, Batel, Levi, and Bediv and Levim, Kolel, Mashum, Litzahin. Since this is all such descriptions of the like, which are related in the Torah and the words of the prophets, all these are metaphors and all imagery. Like it says, Moshe Yeshav Shemaim Yisrael, he who sits in heaven shall laugh. Ki asuni ba'avleim, he angered me with their emptiness. Asher sus, fietzibayim. As Hashem rejoice. I'll call him Racham de Beter Klashim de Adam. This is all Klashim de Adam. Enu Emer ha'isi machsim the terasafim. Ha'isi machisim. They angered me with their emptiness. Ari Emer ani Hashem leshenisi Hashem doesn't change. If Hashem does have anger, so we would change. Now, were he to be at times enraged, at times be happy, he would change. Rather, and all these times are found only with regards to the dark or the low bodies, those who dwell in the house of clay, those foundations, thus, of contrast, he blessed be he, is elevated and exalted above all. Okay. Perek, base of Hilchos Yesodei haTorah. Aleph. This Hashem that we spoke about, it's a mitzvah to love and to fear this glorious and awesome God. Like it says, Hashem lekecha, you shall love Hashem your God. Remember, Hashem lekecha, tira, fear Hashem your Hashem. Base. How does one attain fear of Hashem? B'shashis ben adam is ma'aser ubrim and eflam agdil abiyah man. Of Moshe sheli and evolate from yadoyim rishtam beyaf mishabem perform the Sabbath type of leida Hashem agolo. When a person contemplates his wondrous and great deeds and creation and appreciates his infinite wisdom that surpasses all comparisons, he will immediately love, praise, and glorify Hashem, and he will yearn Hashem tremendously to desire to know Hashem. Which Amar David says, "So after the king that they'll find my soul thirsts for your Hashem, for the living Hashem." Now, when he continues to think about these matters, he will immediately have an awe and fear, appreciating how he is tiny, lowly, dark creature standing with his flimsy, limited wisdom before you, his perfect knowledge. As David says, when I see your heavens, the work of your fingers, I wonder what is the man that you should recall him. Based on these concepts, I will explain the important principles regarding the deeds of the Master of the world to provide the person of understanding to develop love of Hashem. As the Chacham say, in this manner you will recognize he who speaks or brought into the world. Everything Hashem created within His world is divided into three categories. First is you have creations that are a combination of matter and form. They are constantly coming into existence and ceasing to exist. For example, the bodies of man, and beasts, plants, and metals. Then you have creations that are also a combination of matter and form, but do not change from body to body and from form to form to those of the first category. Rather, their form is permanently fixed in the matter. They do not change as others do. For example, the spheres and the stars which revolve around them. This matter for which they are composed differs from a simple conception of matter, and their form differs from a simple conception of form. And then you have ומהם הגלגל וכפל מאיה. ומהם brun sort of a good McCloud, them, Malachim, Shamlachim, in a goof of Gvia, I'll source the further Zimuz. Then you have creations that are formed, but no matter at all. For example, the angels that do not they do not possess bodies or corporal beings, but rather are forms that are separate from each other. Now, Dal, Ma, who's Shanavim in?
And the dollars of big together.
As a Malach,
But
below Framer. Yeah. Now, what does it mean by the Nevi'im? They say they saw an angel of fire or with wings. All these are prophetic visions and parables, which means that they do not have regular bodies. Yeah. Like it says, Hashem, your Hashem is a consuming fire, and it's a metaphor. Which it says, he makes his angels as wind. Hey, since they possess no body, what separates the form of the angels from each other? Their existence is not alike, rather each one is below the level of the other and exists by virtue of influence. In progression of levels one by one. Everything exists by virtue of influence of Hashem. Shlema said, because above the one who's high, there's a watcher, and there's others higher than him. Basically, different levels of Beruchnis. Now, when we say this guy's below the level of the other, it doesn't mean that it's a height over here. He's sitting higher than his friend, but rather it's a spiritual thing. For example, when speaking about two Chachamim, we say, this one is greater than the other, which means this level is greater than the other. Similarly, a cause is referred to as above the effect that produces. The different names of which the angels are called reflect their spiritual levels. Now you have the holy chayas which are above all the others. You have the Ifanim, you have the Elikim, the Raf, the Relim, the sons of Elikim, the Chashmalim, the Kruvim, Surafim, the Ishim, the Malachim. These 10 names are used to refer to the Malachim reflect 10 different spiritual levels. This therefore the being stated they are below Hashem's thrones of glory. The 10th and the lowest level is the form called the Ishim. They are the angels who communicate with the prophets and are perceived by them in vision. Therefore, they are called Ishim because the level is close to the level of human knowledge. All these spiritual forms are alive. They recognize and they know Hashem with very great knowledge. Each of them forms according to his level and not according to his greatness. Now, I feel a mile to shane any feel asking on mitzvah Perek Meshu and the didactic turn last with later about Maseches Vidas. Even the highest level is unable to conceive of the true nature of the creation, since its intellectual capacity is too limited to know or grasp him. It does, however, comprehend and know what are the former belows. So, true regarding each and every level, including the 10th level, the level also knows greater in a manner that surpasses the potential to know and comprehend Hashem by human beings made of body and soul. None of these levels can know the Creator as He knows Himself. Yes, all existence, except for Hashem, from the first form down to the small mosquito in the depths of the earth, came into the influence of His truth, came into being from the influence of His truth. Since He knows Himself and recognizes His greatness, beauty and truth, He knows everything and nothing is hidden from Him. Abishur recognizes the truth and knows it in all. He does not know with knowledge which is external to him in the way that he knows, for ourself and our knowledge are one. Rather, Creator may be his knowledge and his life are one from the sides of the corner into the matter of unity. Were he to live his life as is usually conceived, or know with the knowledge that is external for him, there would be many gods, him, his life, and his knowledge. Rather, it's not so. Rather, he is from all sides and corners in a manner of unity. This is what it says. He is the knower, he is the subject of knowledge, he is the knowledge of itself, all is one. Nobody can understand what this means. Because what does it say? What does it say? Which means that the Creator and his life are not two as the lives of living beings or the lives of the angels. So thus, he does not recognize and know the creation in the terms of creation as he knows them, but rather, he knows them in terms of himself. And since he knows himself, he knows everything. For the existence of everything, all else depends on him. Even though the Rambam says, I explained this a lot, but it's only just like a drop from the sea. What's really necessary to explain. The explanation of all the fundamental principles of these two prophim is referred to as Ma'aseh Merkava, the work of Hashem's chariot, which, as we say, good luck understanding. By the way, just a few things. There's a few things in Rambam which, I guess, I don't know. Next parak is very difficult to understand. Parak Gimel is the Kiddush and Chedush from Parak Tezvav, which is, but you're right. The early generations commanded that these matters should not be explained except to a single individual at a time. You should not be, you should be a wise man. You can reach understanding of the powers of knowledge. In such an instance, he's giving fundamentals, points, and an outline of the consequences made known to him. He is expected to continue to contemplate until he reaches understanding with his power of knowledge and knows the ultimate meaning, the depth of the concept. This is what Shlomo says. He says, lambs of your clothing. So the Chacham say, matters which are secret to the world, will be your clothing, they will be for you alone. You should not discuss them in the public. They shall be for you and not for others with you. It says, honey and milk will be under your tongue, which means subjects that are like honey and milk should be kept under your tongue. Okay, Perek Gimel. It's very you need pictures and it's very negation, but I'm gonna go quick and it's just explain the pasha. Like I understand it. The spheres are called the heavens, the firmament, the habitation, and the sky. There are 9 spheres. The closest sphere, right? The plant, the spheres, what do you call it? The planets. The closest sphere is the sphere of the moon.
He was exceptionally advanced because they didn't have lenses that they to know
exactly
what they saw in the heaven.
Yeah. And I don't even know if it's based on the Gemara also. This is a lot of his own knowledge. Okay, so you have 9 planets. The closest sphere is the sphere of the moon. The second planet, the sphere which is above, is the sphere which contains, it's Mars. Pech is Mars. The third sphere which is above contains the planet of Negative. Show this to Elon Musk. The fourth sphere contains the sun. The fifth sphere contains the planet of Madim. This is the planet of Tzedek. The seventh sphere is called Shapsai. The eighth sphere contains all the stars which are seen in the sky. The ninth sphere is the sphere which revolves each day from the east to the west. It surrounds and encompasses everything. The planets and stars all appear to be in one sphere, even though one is higher than the other. This is because the spheres are pure and refined like glass and sapphire. Therefore, the stars in the eighth sphere appear lower than the first sphere.
What about the constellations?
Constellations, yeah. Base. The Each of the 8 spheres which contain the planet and the stars are themselves divided into many spheres, one above the other, like the layers of the onion. Some of these spheres revolve from the west to the east, and some revolve from the east to the west. Such is as the 9th sphere, which revolves from the east to the west. There's no empty space between any of them. Right, when you feel it.
But because it's round, it's not linear, and you didn't say it as planar, like that. Okay, one is here, one is here.
Right.
It's here, it's here. It's
same, right?
We will.
Give a call on like call like video like them like I am like I shuffle the Chinese. This shadow ray and some king that kills Mars. I am bavadul if you give aber if you them can like Tom. None of these spheres are light or heavy. They are neither red, black, nor color. Though we see them as blue, this is only our perception because of the height of the atmosphere. Similarly, they don't have a taste or a smell because this phenomena are present only in the manner lower than they.
Look at the moon.
Yeah.
And you know color. Then they could have many color made them. And go. But the earth, the moon.
You said because of the atmosphere, the Geva, the height of the atmosphere. Okay. All these 9 spheres which surrounded the world are spherical like a ball, and the earth is suspended in the midst. Some of these planets are small spheres in which they are positioned and revolve. These spheres do not surround the earth. Rather, a small sphere which does not surround the earth is fixed within a large sphere which does. Misper Kol, my other round, I have the pictures of it. Misper Kol Galam Makipur is called Shmena also. The total number of spheres which surround the earth entirely is 18. The Misper Galam Maktan Shena Makipur Shmeda, and the number of smaller spheres which do not surround the world is 8. Malach and Chacham Midias Shus Vas Machayim Bechol Shah. With Yas Miruach Darim Ruach Tzavim Ruach Darim Megavim Malars U Krivas and Yivada Misper Kolel Galam the truth of the cousin. From the movement of the planets and the knowledge of the extent of their revolution, each day and each moment their position either northward, either north to south, a distance above the earth and closeness. It's impossible to know the number of these spheres, the manner in which they proceed, and the nature of their orbit. This is the science of calculating the seasons, and the astronomy. Many books about these subjects were written by the wise men of the Greeks. The 9th sphere, which encompasses all the other, was divided by the Chachamim of the early generations into 12 sections. They gave each of these sections a name based on the shapes that appear to be formed by the stars below it to which it corresponds. These are the mazals which are called, as we say, the lamb, the ox, the twin, the crab, the lions, the psula, the scales, the scorpions, the boat, the buck, and the fish. Zayin. Gagal shi asmei ein bei le chalukah le'tzura mikol atzur ze'elu b'leipish. V'le b'chim rekam shebegagal ashmini hu shirov v'cham dilim shebetabas atzur ze'elu oikar mehen. Ve'elu shashneim also tzurus le'hayim v'chuban etzveni l'isna chalukah melazmana ma'abel shos alei shmei ze'elu. Azman hazeh kvar savu ma'at. V'fish kol gekal shebegagal ashmini kulam sevim k'mei hashemesh v'irech al shen sevim mitmetus. V'chelu shizal hashemesh v'irech shekeneged. Shekeneged b'yemech the other keneged qualities. So, as we cater with shivering numbers. The 9th sphere itself has no division, nor does it possess any of the shapes or any stars. Rather, the larger stars of the constellations of the 8 spheres are seen in the shape of these forms, resembling them. The 12 forms correspond to these divisions only at the time of the flood and of the Mabul, and then given these names. However, they are already moved slightly because all the stars in the 8th sphere move as the sun and the moon do. It's just that these stars move very slowly. It would take any of these stars approximately 70 years to move the same distance as the sun and the moon move in one day. Wow. All these stars we see are small ones which surpasses in size and large, which are several times larger than others. And you have sometimes Earth is much greater than the others. Now, our Earth is approximately 40 times larger than the moon, and the sun is approximately 170 times larger than the Earth. So it comes out that the moon is approximately 6,800th the size of the sun. So none of the other stars has a large is as large as the sun, nor is one as small as the planet Kaichav in the second sphere. All the stars and spheres possess soul, knowledge, and intellect. They all are alive and stand in recognition of the Eibishter. According to their level of size, they praise Hashem. Just as they are aware of the Eibishter, they are also aware of themselves and the angels that surpass them. The knowledge of the stars of the spheres is less than the knowledge of the angels, but greater than that of men. Yud. Below the sphere of the moon, Hashem created a type of matter which differs from the matter of the spheres. He created our forms for this matter which differs from the forms of the matter of the spheres. Each of these forms were fixed in a portion of this matter. The first of these forms is the matter of fire. When it becomes connected to a portion of this matter, from the two there came into being a fire. The second of these forms is a form of wind. When it became connected to the portion of this matter, from the two there came into being of wind. The third of these forms is a form of water. When it became connected to a portion of this matter, from the two there came into being of water. The fourth of these forms is a form of earth. When it becomes connected to a portion of this matter, from the two there came into being of the body of earth. So it comes that below the sky there are four different states of matter, one above the other, each one encompassing the one below from the creation like the sphere. The first of these bodies is the body of the fire, then the matas is the ruach, and then the matamedo is gufa mine, the matamedo is gufa oras. There's no empty space without any matter to all of them. Last one, arba gufas elo einem bali nevesh v'nedim v'lemakim elo gufa mason. These four bodies do not possess a soul, nor do they constitute not knowing. Rather, they are like dead bodies. Each one has its inclination, however, it's not conscious of knowledge, nor can it be changed. This is what it means, praise Hashem from earth, sea monsters, all the depths, fire and hail, snow and vapor. The pasuk is to be interpreted, men praise Hashem for his mightiness, which is apparent in the fire, hail, and other creations that can be seen below the sky, because their power is always visible to both the great and the small.